Hello and welcome. If you're new here, my name is Naomi. If you're not new here, then hello my friends, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be going through 4 tips that you need to get started in your calorie deficit. Who is this video going to be for? So this is for the ladies that maybe you're currently in a rut at the minute and you're wanting to get out of it. Maybe you're putting in the work but not seeing the results. Or maybe you've let good habits slip and some old habits have started to creep back in and you need a little bit of a refresher. I am here to help you with that. So just so you know, I am all about simple, science-backed strategies. We're tracking the data, we're looking for the trends, and we're getting the work done. Before we start, these are my credentials. I'm a level 3 personal trainer and exercise referral. I'm a certified nutrition coach and transformation coach. I have a bachelor's of science in physical activity and health and a higher education degree in that area as well. I've been in the health and fitness space for over 10 years. And you can see here, I have helped many women do exactly this, transform their body. So now that you know that I know my shit, grab a notepad and pen, let's sit down, let's make notes. We're going to school, we're gonna get you started in your calorie deficit. Okay, so straight into it, tip number 1. And this is the part most people skip, but it's by far one of the most important things that you should be doing when you get started. Before you even cut a single calorie out and you start tracking your calorie deficit and you're going into the journey itself, I want you to have 3 to 5 days as a minimum tracking the calories that you are consuming. I would recommend that you do this over part of your weekday and part of your weekend as well to get a true representation of your eating habits, what you're eating, when you're eating, why you're eating, and do not worry. At this point, we are not putting any pressure on to see any changes. There is no judgment about what you're eating, when you're eating, how you're eating. This is simply just data. Why do we do this? Well, because going into a calorie deficit without actually understanding what we're currently doing is like trying to do a budget plan without even checking your bank account. It's just something that you wouldn't and shouldn't do. In terms of tracking, I would recommend using MyFitnessPal or NutriCheck. And in this assessment, I would take pictures alongside it as well, especially for those times that maybe you're not able to track. This information alongside the daily metrics that you'll be tracking, such as your daily weight and steps, is going to give you a really good idea of your current position and maybe why you're not seeing the results that you are wanting to. The reason why I like to do this with myself and my clients is because it's a really good reflection tool. It allows us to start being a little bit more mindful of what we're eating, how we eat, when we eat, why we eat, where are we eating. But also as a coach, it gives me a better understanding of my client, what their lifestyle is like and what changes we could make simply. And then from there, what we can start to do is make practical, simple swaps. So it's not about changing your whole diet and having an overhaul because that's not going to last long term. Just like a training plan, your nutrition plan needs to follow a gradual approach. And therefore, making a few swaps could be something that actually is going to help you be so successful on this journey. Number 2, this is so important. You're going to want to be measuring your progress, and not just with one measure. You want to be using at least 2 measures of progress. Now let's go into the nitty-gritty because like I said, we're doing things properly, we're tracking the data, we're getting the results. There are 3 kind of accessible ways to measure your progress. So number 1, and this is the GOAT, this is what you should be doing regardless, is taking photos. 2 is taking a scale weight, and number 3 is measurements. So let's go into them in a little bit more detail. Firstly, the GOAT, the progress photos. I would recommend that everybody takes these photos because we know the scale weight isn't a true representation of our body composition. It's just simply telling us how much we weigh that day. With your progress photos, how often you take them will depend on your deficit type and length. So for example, if you're somebody that's doing a slower, more sustainable deficit, you're probably going to want to take photos every 4 weeks. That's because we're not going to see changes really, really quickly. And if you are doing it for a long time, sometimes doing it every single week can get a little bit tedious and we don't want you dropping off towards the end. And the second way, if you're having a shorter, more slightly aggressive deficit, like something that's maybe 6 to 12 weeks long, then you want to be taking photos every single week. But whatever you decide with the photos that you take, I really recommend putting it into your calendar when you are taking those photos A mistake I see so often, and these are the people that don't get the results that they want, is because what they'll do is they'll take an initial photo and then they don't take another photo for about 4 months, and they avoid taking those photos, or they forget, or they don't prioritize it, and therefore they never see the progress that they're making. So eventually you're going to get unmotivated, you're going to get bored of the process, you're not going to enjoy it because you're not celebrating the wins of the fact that your body is changing, and then you revert backwards, and before you know it, you're back where you started. So I'd really recommend that when you do take photos, be consistent with it, be strict with it, prioritize it, and make sure that's something that you are doing. I know taking those initial photos are the most uncomfortable photos in the whole process, okay? But you don't have to show them to anybody, they can just be for you, but these are going to be your power photos. When you're at the end of that 12 weeks and you've put in the work, you've made the changes, you're going to look back and be so proud of the change that you've made. But you also then, it's going to make you understand that the process has been more enjoyable, and you're actually going to be able to carry on the healthy habits that you have worked on over that time. Again, let's break down those photos a little bit further. We know how often we should be taking them, but what should we be taking? So it's really important that your photos are controlled and comparable. So make sure you're wearing the same outfit each time. Make sure this outfit, you can actually see the changes in your body. Don't be hiding yourself so much that nobody can actually see the progress that you're making. Again, you could be making loads of changes, but if you can't see them, you're going to get unmotivated and stop. Number 2, try and be in the same place with the same lighting. Make sure it's natural lighting as well. This is a little bit harder for us in the UK in the winter because it's so dark later. So again, taking this photo at the weekend are probably going to be better for you. But right now it's summer, so we do have some natural light nice and early on. You want to take your photos first thing in the morning, after you've had a wee, before you've had anything to drink or eat. You want it fasted, just like you want your daily weight being fasted in the same conditions as well. And you want to aim for 3 angles, front, side and back. And I like to do an addition of a video where I am relaxed and posed from each angle. So the second measure of progress that we want to be using is a daily weight. With this, it's just a piece of the puzzle. It's just a little bit of data that we can track. But something to consider is that we are not looking to see changes daily. We're not expecting this downward trajectory every single time that we take a weigh-in. We're taking it every single day so we can get a weekly average, and then we can compare our weekly averages. And the reason being is that our body can fluctuate a lot in terms of weight, and that doesn't mean that it's fluctuating a lot in terms of body fat, it's fluctuating a lot in terms of weight. And this could be due to the amount of carbs that you've had. When we have carbs, we hold water. It could be due to hormonal fluctuations. It could be down to poor sleep, increased sodium. It could be inflammation from a really hard workout that you've done. It could be that you ate later, or you went out for a meal and therefore the food hasn't digested as well. So you've got some more undigested food in you. So there are so many reasons why our weight can fluctuate. So we are looking at that weekly average. The third measure of progress is body measurements, where you've got a tape measure and you might be taking your hip, waist, thigh, chest, etc. Now this is a measure that I actually would recommend due to the inaccuracy that most people have with this, because it's just so easy to be changing and measuring from a different spot and getting such a different result. So I never really recommend it unless you are with somebody that is kind of, it sounds silly, but trained in that area. So when I used to work out in the field, obviously that is a measure that we would use, and that's something that obviously you're so used to doing so many times. But if you are on your own, I really wouldn't recommend it, because you're just going to get some inaccurate readings that aren't a true representation of what's actually going on. So I'd recommend sticking to progress photos and a daily and average weight. So number 3, now you've got your progress photos, your power photos at the beginning, you've done your 3 to 5 day assessment. You're going to use a calorie calculator to find out your maintenance, and from this maintenance you're going to subtract 300 to 500 calories for your deficit. From this you're going to have your daily calorie intake, and you're going to set a protein target as well. I know that at the start you really want those results quickly, you're frustrated with where you're starting and you just want to see that change. So it can be so tempting to be like, I'm going to go into an 800 calorie deficit or a 1000 calorie deficit, but this is very aggressive. Not only is this hard to actually manage yourself, it is going to have a massive impact on your mood, your sleep, your health, and the muscle that you actually want to maintain. Unless you are under the guidance of a dietitian or a very, very qualified coach, I really wouldn't recommend cutting any more than 500 calories for your deficit. And this is the part that's really important. For the next 2 weeks, so your first 2 weeks of your calorie deficit, after your 3 to 5 days of assessment, I want you to be so accurate with your tracking. This is your food, this is your drinks, this is the supplements that you take, this is the collagen that you're having, this is the electrolytes that you have, your pre-workout. I want you to be so accurate with your tracking. And then after the 2 weeks,
and only after the 2 weeks, you're
going to assess the data. You're going to look at your photos and your daily weight. Are you seeing changes? If the answer is yes, then continue doing what you're doing. Your calories up and output is probably right. If the answer is no, the weight hasn't changed at all and your progress photos look exactly the same, you feel exactly the same, then I would either minus your calories slightly, or you're going to want to increase your energy output slightly. This is either cardio or your steps. Okay, number 4 is your daily non-negotiables. You want to have something daily that you are ticking, those easy wins that you can grab each day. So your water, you want to make sure you're staying hydrated, and I really would recommend having some electrolytes with that as well. I use the March On Performance Hydration because I train at quite a high intensity. So for me, it's really important that I am hydrating my body before and after training. I'll leave a link in the bio to the electrolytes that I use. Honestly, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Next, you want to make sure you have a step target. This is your energy output, okay? So your nutrition and your steps are the most important thing in your calorie deficit. So do make sure that you do have a step target. This doesn't have to be 10,000 per day. Just have a look at what is your weekly average at the moment and start to add a little bit more on there and be more active. People always kind of like to go, oh, you don't need to go for 10,000, but obviously the more active that you can be, the better it is for your health. So I do recommend moving as much as you can. I know it's hard when we have sedentary jobs, being in an office or working from home. Surprisingly enough, as a fitness coach, my job is actually really sedentary. It is hard. I completely understand that. And I work from home. So I don't even have a little walk in and between the office or going to the shop on lunchtime. So I would really recommend making sure that you are moving as much as you can. And a little bonus tip, because you've stuck around this long, and it is something that I made a mistake on at the beginning of my journey when I went into my first cut phase. And it is the mistake I see so many people do time and time again. But your food quality matters. We're not just looking at protein. So many people get so bogged down with their protein and they forget that actually a lot of their nutrition is made up of their carbohydrate intake and some healthy fats as well. We want to make sure that we are fueling ourselves with high quality nutrition. Yes, you can lose weight having McDonald's in your calorie target, but you're not going to feel very good from it, you're not going to look very good from it, and you're not going to perform very good from it. It's like if you had a car and you filled your car up with the wrong petrol. Yeah, it might go a little way, but it's going to break down eventually, and over time it's going to ruin the insides of your car. Just like your body, if you are fueling it with the food that don't offer a lot of nutrients and don't give your body what it actually needs and craves, it's going to break down eventually, whether this is with fatigue, whether this is brain fog, whether this is disturbed sleep, whatever it may be, it eventually will break down. So it's so important that when you are planning and prepping your meals, you're looking at the quality of food as well. So this is where I would aim for an 80% of a whole foods approach where you can. The quality of the food that we eat will impact our mood, it impacts our health, it impacts our energy levels, it impacts our performance in the gym, it impacts our productivity and concentration at work, and it impacts our body composition. So that's my 5 tips for starting out in your calorie deficit. I hope that helped. If you do have any questions, or if you'd like to see a part 2, because there are plenty more tips that I could help with, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video, because it really does go a long way. And because you've stuck around this far, I have a little bonus for you in the description. It is a free Prep Like a Boss guide, which is my really simple step-by-step meal prep guide to help you create and plan your meals, because obviously what I've just mentioned will be helpful, but you need to be planning and prepping those meals. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.